What's going on, guys? What's going on, guys? Another sunny day here in Honolulu, Hawaii. Another day. I want to talk about, in this particular video, I'm going to talk about how Jehovah's Witnesses are identical to crackheads. And a long time ago, right? This is back when I was a J-Dub. I went to one of my friends' conventions in Australia, right? So, you know how before the convention you do your lunch prep, get your clothes ready, the whole nine. So my friends and their family, they were packing candy. They were packing candy, gummies, chocolate candy, lollipops, Twizzlers. I was like, hold on. I'm like, hold on. Are we going to the convention or are we going to the movies? Oh, you guys needed some popcorn and we were about to have a good ass time. Over here packing all the, they had like 3 or 4 different candies, chocolates, gummy bears, Twizzlers. I'm like, hold on, what is this? I asked them, I said, why are you guys bringing, is that an Australian thing? Like, do Aussies bring candy to the assemblies and conventions? So my friend and their family, they replied, they said, oh, we do this because we tend to fall asleep during the meeting, during the convention. Sometimes we get tired and we have the candy to keep us awake, to help us stay up. And in the back of my mind, I'm like, hold on, isn't it supposed to be the best life ever? If you need candy to stay awake doing something that's supposed to be life-saving, these assemblies and conventions, they're supposed to be extremely beneficial, right? So why do you need gummies, lollipops, chocolate candy, Twizzlers? Why do you need all this stuff? Why do you need these candies, these sweets? If this is supposed to be the best life ever, this is supposed to be good news. I was talking to a friend, he's an actor. I was talking to one of my good friends a few days ago on this topic, right? And he made a really good point, and that's why he prompted me to make this video, right? Now I made a video in the past. I believe it's called how the Jehovah's Witness organization is like a drug, right? Yeah, like a drug. So this would be a part 2 to that. But as you notice, the governing body leaders, they're so good at keeping their members hooked, right? Keep them hooked, just like a crackhead. Just like a crackhead is hooked on crack, right? What happens when someone takes drugs? When someone takes crack, right? I heard that crack is that crack high, the high you get from crack is one of the best highs ever, right? Now, I'm not saying this for personal experience. I'm not talking from personal experience. I don't do crack, right? But I heard that the high that you get from crack is sensational, right? I'm over here promoting crack. Wow. I'm not promoting crack, guys. I know it sounds like that, but anyway, I heard that high that you get from crack is one of the best highs out there, right? And that's why people become crackheads, because they don't know how to stop. They get so hooked on it, and then once that high declines, once the high is going out of the system, they have to get another high just to stay up there, right? That's why these crackheads are so addicted to it, because they go from one high to the other without really getting low. Now, it's the same thing with the Jehovah's Witnesses. This is why they have the assemblies. This is why they have the conventions. This is why a Jehovah's Witness needs to go to meetings week after week. They have to stay on that high week after week, because the minute they get off that high, the minute they stop going to the meetings, what happens? Eventually, you will lose interest, right? So you need to stay hooked on it. That's why they tell you you're not supposed to miss a meeting. They don't want you guys missing any meetings, because once you start to miss a few meetings, you're not going to be so inclined. You're not going to be so enticed. And you could eventually lose your faith. You could eventually lose your faith in the organization, right? And it is identical. It is identical to when witnesses stop going to the meetings. It is identical to crackheads when they get off that high. That's why they need to stay juiced up. They got to stay juiced up, because the minute they get off that high, then guess what happens? They have to face life's problems. And this is something else that's identical with Jehovah's Witnesses and crackheads. Jehovah's Witnesses, they don't like to face reality. They don't want to face reality. So it's easier, it's way easier for them to live in La La Land and believe that there's a paradise right around the corner. That's easier than it is to accept that, oh shit, one day we're gonna die. Well, one day we're not gonna be here. Why is there so much suffering? Why is there so much crime? Why is there so much corruption? Why am I struggling? Why am I living in poverty? They don't want to dwell on that. Just like a crackhead doesn't want to dwell on their own problems. Now, I'm not out here judging people. I'm not knocking anybody, you know. But drugs, alcohol, sex, pornography, all these addictions that people have, right? It's set up because people don't want to face the reality, right? But when it comes to drugs, a lot of times, 8 or 9 times out of 10, people do drugs because they are struggling. They're suffering and they're struggling. They're going through something. They're going through something, and they don't want to face life head on. So what do? They escape life. They escape it with drugs, with crack, heroin, alcohol, sex, pornography, food. People choose to escape with addictions because, like I said, it is hard. Life is hard. Life could be shit. Life could be rough, right? Life is hard. So people escape life through drugs, sex, alcohol, so forth. So forth and so forth, right? But people have all these outlets where people tend to escape life's problems instead of dealing with it head on. And it's the same thing with Jehovah's Witnesses. They don't want to accept that this is the only life that there is. Even though that's the reality of the situation, right? We all know that this is the only life that there is. When you wake up from this cult, we have to deal with life head on. Don't get me wrong. In a sense, it's way easier to live in La La Land and pretend like there's a paradise earth, to be oblivious to what's going on. It's easier. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. Sometimes I wish I didn't wake up. Sometimes I wish I didn't wake up, because it's easier to deal with life. It's easier to deal with life when you're oblivious to not knowing the truth about the truth. But it's like when you learn the truth about the truth and you learn that your entire life was a lie, that's hard. When you got to start from scratch in your 30s, that's hard. When you have to find yourself, when you have to find your true authentic self, you have to discover who you are in your 30s, that is hard. No one wants to go through that. And that is why Jehovah's Witnesses remain fast asleep. That's one reason, because a lot of them, they don't want to wake up. They don't want to accept that what they believe is a lie. So it is way easier for them to stay in that drug. The drug of the organization that keeps them hooked. Meeting after meeting, convention after convention, assembly after assembly. That's all it is. That's all it is. It's a drug. All these meetings that they go to, all this information that these Jehovah's Witnesses are learning, it is a drug. It's there to just keep them hooked until the day that they die. That's all. That's all this organization is good for, is selling seldom fake pipe dreams. That's it. Until the day you die, you have to lie to yourself. You have to convince yourself that paradise is right around the corner. It's right around the corner. And like I said in the beginning of this video, you know, when I was with my Australian friends back in the day, I went to the convention, they was wrapping up all this candy. And I said to them, I said, hold on. Are we going to the convention or are we going to the movies? All you need is a bag of popcorn and we're all good. We're all good to go. They had all these candies just to stay up during a convention. But check this out. Check this out. How many Jehovah's Witnesses remember last year's conventions? If you were to ask a Jehovah's Witness, can you name 5 key points that you learned in 2023's either the convention or the assembly? Can you name 5 key points that you learned on the top of your head? Not going back to your notes, on the top of your head. Can you recall 5 key points from last year's assembly or convention? Most of them would scratch their heads. It would take them a while, right? But check this out. You ask them, can you name 5 songs that you know from the top of your head, that you know from start to finish? Can you recall 5 songs? They can easily do that. A lot of people can say, oh yeah, I know 5 songs. I know this song, this song, this song. I can name 5 songs. I know all the lyrics, the chorus. I know everything, right? Oh, you don't say. So you can recall 5 of your favorite songs, right? From start to finish. But you can't recall 5 key points that you learned from last year's convention or assembly. And yet, that's supposed to be a life-saving message. This is supposed to be the best life ever, right? It's the best life ever, supposedly. But yet, we have witnesses that they need energy drinks. They need candy. They need snacks. They need snacks just to stay up. Just to stay up for the conventions and assemblies. Like I said, every meeting they go to, every assembly, every convention that Jehovah's Witnesses go to, it is a drug. The governing body leaders are selling them lies. They're selling them the drug are the meetings. The end is right around the corner. They say this. The governing body leaders have to say this to keep their members hooked. They have to keep their members on this high. Just like these crackheads take these drugs to stay on that high because they don't want to deal with life's problems. It's easier. Remember, it's always easier to do the wrong thing, to do the bad thing. It's always easier. The stuff that's beneficial for you are the hardest things to do in life. It's hard to go to the gym. It's easier to eat junk food. It's hard to stay morally chaste. It's easy to sleep around. It's hard to stay sober. It's easy to indulge in alcohol and drugs. Everything that's easy for you, 9 times out of 10, it's not what you need to be doing. It's easy for Jehovah's Witnesses to stay in a cult. You know why? Because they have a sense of community. It doesn't take a lot of logic. It doesn't take a lot of common sense to be a Jehovah's Witness. All you have to do is pretend. All you have to do is pretend to be spiritual. And guess what? Other Jehovah's Witnesses will like you. People will like you. All you have to do is go out and fill service, go to the meetings, comment at the meetings. You could be an asshole, a jerk deep down inside. You could be a horrible person. But all you have to do is appear to be a spiritual person. It's all about appearances, as we know. It's all about appearances in this cult. But yet, let you do your research and you come to the conclusion that, oh shit, this is just a man-made organization. There is no paradise. This is all fake. Let you come to those conclusions. And people will shun you. People will leave you, right? But this organization is like a drug. And it's so identical. There's so similarities between crackheads and Jehovah's Witnesses. Because they both need that high. They both need that high in order to thrive in this world. They both rather stay on this drug, this so-called drug of illusion. It's just, and they're just deteriorating their lives. They're wasting their lives. They're throwing their lives away. For what? For what? Drug-free is the way to be. I mean that spiritually, and I mean that physically. I mean that with actual drugs too. And it pains me that these Jehovah's Witnesses They rather stay hooked on this crack that the governing body leaders are giving them. They rather stay hooked on this drug, this false hope. They rather throw their entire lives away on a damn pipe dream. Just like these crackheads are throwing their lives away on these drugs. That's doing nothing for them but getting them high from, you know, one high to the next. Throwing their entire lives away. For what? For what? Anywho, guys, I hope everyone is enjoying the week. I love you guys. If you are a Jehovah's Witness watching this video, please, please, please do your research. Because there is no need for you to keep taking this drug from the organization. There's no need for you to keep lying to yourself week after week, month after month, year after year, decade after decade, until the day you die. You have to take this drug. You have to lie to yourself. You have to stay on this high that's getting you nowhere. You're going nowhere fast. I love you guys. I'll see you on the next video.